evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage. There you'll find the frequencies we operate on and a little history about the club. Also, there'll be a link that will take you to YouTube, where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, I'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a particular tone of 103.5 for Cougar Mountain for our voice transmissions during our nets. So with that, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact on the 08 machine before our net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7CYM. Hearing none, again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Already checked into the net via video link is Ron, KD7QKU. Richard, K7ITX. Wade, W7ITL. Jim, N7QO. And myself, Dave, KD7CYM. Is there anybody else who would like to join the net this evening? See, Jessica has joined us, KF7UHK. Is there anyone else?
Dave, Whiskey Uniform 7 November, WW7ATS.
U7N, have you down? Is anyone else wishing to check in? Okay, well, we'll get the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net underway. Let's start with Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Well, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Nice to see everybody. Wade was with us a minute ago, but he's driving. He was on his way home, as maybe all of you heard. What did I do today? Joanne had a lunch here, and she had a bunch of ladies over this afternoon that she worked with. I think most of them are retired now. And so they had a nice time. Her sister came over, and then I went over to my brother-in-law's and spent the afternoon with him. We went out to his shop. He's been making some caskets. He's as old as I am. We're about the same age. He doesn't have much strength anymore, or must, he can't work very long or very hard. He's got about 12 caskets. 8 of them are finished. Now he doesn't know what to do with them. He made them out of wood. They're beautiful, and he wants to sell them, of course. I think he wanted $1,200 a piece for them, but today he was talking about taking less than that and just getting rid of them. There's Indian reservation over here by the casino, and they provide free funerals for their members, and they have this really nice cemetery. He drove me by the cemetery, and I suggested, he's been over there and talked to them, and apparently they use a lot of wooden caskets. I said he should load one in the back of his van. He's got a nice van, and take it over and show it to him, and then maybe make an arrangement with him to sell them. He has 8 that are completely finished, and he has 4 more that are almost finished. And see if he could sell them. So I don't know, he may do that in the near future. He kind of wants, he's been renting this building, he's a concrete building, I don't know, he's rented it for probably 30, 40 years, and it's kind of way on the outside of town in the Dingleberries, and it's a concrete block building, and he has all these carpenter tools and everything in there, and he's been paying rent. So I was telling Joanne, he's had this little account that he had from his cabinet business. Finally, he ran out of the money that was in it, so now he's dipping into whatever money, Social Security or something, to pay the rent, and he's not so happy about that. So he's thinking he should get rid of the shop. He's probably not going to make very many more cabinets. So, but he's got tons of tools and stuff. And it's, you know, it's a dirty old dusty cabinet shop, so I don't know. He's got a lot of stuff. You know, woodworking equipment. So I don't know what he's going to do. So, and then we went home and visited, went out to lunch. We had a nice really nice guy, fun to visit with. So I had a nice afternoon. So that's what I did today. Back to net, KD7QKU.
QKU, let's go to the wheels on the bus with Jessica, KF7UHK.
This is KF7UHK. Oh yeah, I was sitting in the break room yesterday. I think I had not gone to work yet. No, yeah, I think I hadn't gone to work yet. And one of the big bosses opens the door, points his finger at me and says, "Jessica, I need to talk to you." I'm thinking, oh no, you've got some video to show me, and I'm not going to be very happy about it. But it was actually, they needed me to drive tomorrow on a route which I don't really like all that much because to me it's just not very exciting. It's up in Cedar Woolley. Yeah, Sylvia says pray because nobody likes it. And it's Sunday, so I think it's like 11-hour day. It's an all-day job tomorrow. You know, sometimes it'll be a morning shift and an afternoon shift, but tomorrow it's all my shift. So I'm gonna drive it because they needed me, and I like to fill the bill when I can because I might ask for favors later, especially on things like going to see the eclipse on a ship, kind of favors and stuff like that. You know, I want them to remember that I've jumped in for them. So that's what I'm doing tomorrow. Today I made a real nice stew, and I used some tri-tip steak, and it had this big hunk that hadn't been carved out into a nice little thin steaklets, and it was only a pound, but lots of nice marbling. Oh, it tasted so good in the stew. That's what I did today. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Jessica. Never KF7UHK.
UHK, well, let's go to Kent. Richard, K7ITX.
W7ITL.
As I tried to organize things today, and I kind of did, but when I did, I got my microphone tangled up with my Kindle situation on the charger. So luckily nothing got wrecked as everything fell. So anyway, well, gee whiz, I don't know what to tell you. If it isn't one thing, that's another. Now, I don't know, I got something in my bottom eyelid on my left eye. You know, I had a sliver. The YL took a look at it. You know, you can't look at stuff like that yourself. It's next to impossible. I just can't. And so, you lay down on the sofa like it's an operating table, and she gets out a magnifying glass, and you know, and I just, she look up, you know, it's just like at the eye doctor.
and she said she could see a little pinkish spot or dot on bottom eyelid, and so I felt relief when she, as you know, she was doing that too. And then the weird thing about it is it's intermittent. You know, I didn't. So I didn't feel it or notice it until like 10 o'clock on Monday morning. And I go, what I can, you know, and so all day long I tried all kinds of weird things, eye moisturizer. I even went to the store and bought Visine. And Debbie says, oh yeah, you should never use that stuff. And I don't know, nothing worked. Oh, and I don't know, I think I even put a compress on my eye. That's got a little relief from that. But then, you know, it'd go away, and, you know, it went away most of the day, and then it came back later that night. Oh, by the way, Debbie did her exam on Tuesday, and after she was done, that's when I called the eye doctor, and the eye doctor says, well, see if it goes away in a couple days. Because it wasn't, you know, it wasn't killing me, you know, and I'm able to drive, and then, like I say, it comes and goes, so that I do get relief. But here I was, Friday afternoon. It wasn't feeling very good, and so I called the eye doctor. Of course, they're not going to see me, you know, but they set up an appointment on Tuesday afternoon, so we'll see how that goes. God dang, anyway, what can I say? So, like I say, you know, so, and one of my most favorite things was on television today, which was okay to watch most of the day, and that was the U.S. Open. My God, can you believe that thing was on wall to wall from 10 o'clock in the morning, and it just got over 8 o'clock tonight. 10 hours of straight coverage by NBC on Channel 5. And it was really quite entertaining, actually. You know, well, what's really fun, and one of my favorite players, Ricky Fowler, is been carrying the lead. He broke a couple records for, you know, the best start in U.S. Open history. Best, I guess, 2-day start. Or yeah, he broke the record for sure. And so that was pretty exciting to know he did that, and then watch him play, and you know, trials and tribulations. So anyway, right up till 8 o'clock, it was, you know, down to the wire, still ahead. So tomorrow's the final round. So we'll see how my eye is doing by then. I'll get a nice rest tonight, and feels pretty good, you know, get a good night's sleep. Crazy thing to talk about, so hey, there's Bert, good deal. Geez, what if he's on a ship somewhere, you know? Well, if he is, that means that the value, what do you say it, the more value-driven internet, it's not the high price spread on the boat. Evidently it's working, so but I don't know, we'll have to see if he can get on what is it, Echolink, where I think I heard Wade on Echolink as well. And then there's James just showed up. So I'm going to get out of here and let someone else scramble around. K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO. Dave, I'm just wondering if Bert's going to be able to be with us for the entire thing or if he's going to lose his internet connection. Could we check with him first real quick, please?
Let's go to Bert, N7CS. Seem to have lost Bert. Well, let's go back to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. I don't know if you caught it, but he sent a message that he's just checking to see if Zoom is working. Maybe he could join us after the net. He said he's having trouble with YouTube. His internet connection is slow. So maybe we'll hear from him later, maybe not. Anyway, good evening, everyone. Let's see, Ron, just curious if there is a demand for wooden caskets. I have two friends who their avocation is working with wood, and I'm sure they would enjoy maybe being able to make a couple bucks on the side. I don't know, just curious. They might like that, they might not. Anyway, if you have any information on that, I'd appreciate it. Jessica, Cedro Woolley. Oh my goodness. I was thinking boring is good, but on the other hand, when you said that it's 11 hours, I'll bet that's why no one likes it. So, I don't know. Anyway, anyway, good luck with that. Let's see, Dick, mic cord. Now, how often do you have problems with the mic cord? I'm telling you, it's Pippa. Pippa is jealous because you are giving too much of your time to Mika. So Pippa, when you're not looking, is kind of tying it up. That's just my thought. As for your eyelid, I use an eye drop called Zaditor. It's an antihistamine eye drop. It's in a predominantly orange box, and I have found that works miracles for me and my wife too from time to time. We don't use it regularly, but when we really have a problem, it seems to do the trick. You may want to check that out. Also, your last eye exam, I know you were concerned they were going to dilate your eyes, and I was just curious if they did or if you were able to get them to use a camera. The optician to whom I go said they actually prefer not dilating and using the camera. They said they could see more taking a picture of your retina with this special camera that they have. Just curious about that. And golf. Yeah, I noticed that on television. I did not watch any of the golf, but I did watch the Mariners lose. Oh well. C'est la vie, maybe next time. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
In 7QO, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine for ID. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Let's go to Bellevue to James, WU7N.
Good evening to all. This is James, WU7N, Northeast Bellevue. Well, let's see. I think I heard in there a couple of different things happening. I just have to say, Ron, if your relative is in the casket business, and he has a wood shop, he should stay in it, because, I mean, you know, the business is never going to go away. It might even increase here in coming years. I mean, it sounds to me like a perfect setup. I think a long time before I'd sell that wood shop. But I guess it's always easier to tell the baker how to bake the bread than to bake it yourself. Well, okay, so here's all the eye dog jokes. You know what they say about ophthalmology? You just have to keep your eye on it. And then let's see, there's other ones in there. Let's see what the other ones. The doctor, when you make an appointment with an ophthalmologist, they can never see you. Okay, well, no, I'll stop now. Oh yes, ba-boom boom. Yes, thank you for the visual sound effects there. Well, my day and week have been singularly unimpressive here, but here's one tip I'll give everybody. There is an animal rescue farm out on SR 900, about at that intersection out in the northeast Renton Highlands where SR 900 meets the May Valley Road. If you have not been there, you should see it. I've never seen such an incredibly clean barnyard in my life. They say there's two. I talked to one of the two employees out there, and says an army of volunteers keeps it going, and I mean that is really impressive. They have some very strange animals out there. They have a pig that looks like one of those giant wild boars of South Africa or something, but it was raised literally from a baby on a bottle, and so it is just the friendliest thing, but it just looks mean. And it trots over and wants to have treats, and it's just very strange. The other animal they have that's strange is some version of a bovine. It's got red, long hair, and she's got huge horns. And generally, my rule of any large cow-like or bull-like animal that has giant horns, you stay away from them, and you let them own that section of the barnyard. Not this thing. It was apparently, its story is, someone got it, didn't realize how big it was going to be. Was raised, and it acts like a cat. It wants to come over and just be petted right here. That's what it just loves, and this is a giant beast. And of course, there's little kids running around with these little cute tin pails filled with carrots and lettuce and treats, and all the goats and all the other animals are out, you know, trying to get those. It's really quite an experience. And they ask for donations, but it's free. So if you ever get out in the Renton Northeast Highlands of SR 900 and that area of the May Valley Road, you definitely have to check this place out. Kept spotlessly clean. I honestly don't know how you do that with a barnyard, but they managed to do it. I'll say this: the lady that founded it is a vegetarian. She's obviously very, loves animals. I like animals too, but there is a couple of rabbits in a hutch there, and I recognized them right away. I remember from North Texas, they are bred for meat. That's what they're bred for. And of course, these are just, tourist pets. So I would say I love animals, but those kind right next to the mashed potatoes. But I wouldn't say that to the owner. I wouldn't do that. But they also had these chickens that also are very much, they're not, I guess the hens lay eggs, but they're made for meat. And it's just kind of funny to see these pampered animals that have been for generations bred for food, and now they're tourist pets. Anyway, check it out. This is James, WW7ATS, Northeast Bellevue.
WU7N, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City. Oh my, I got 53 degrees out, a little bit of drizzle going on right now here in North Seattle. Now for me today, it was like paperwork, a little shopping, and a trip to the bank. So that was sort of just getting things done around the place and taking care of business, so to speak. And for Ron, oh my, caskets sounds exciting. I'd probably be a candidate for one of those caskets, but I've elected to go up in flames, so I probably won't need a casket. So anyway, such is life. But it would be a great bargain, I'm sure, to get a custom-made casket. And Jessica, Cedro Woolley, oh my. My traveling around in television news, 2 meters worked fantastic from Cedro Woolley's getting back into Seattle. We had basically our radios and TV were on 2 meters band area, and very clear to get into Seattle with communications. And let's see, Richard, I think you probably have a sty in the eye, as they say, and the only thing you can do with that is a very hot washcloth and just a compress on your eye, and it'll clear up in a couple of days. Got to do it about 3 or 4 times a day, and that clears up the sty. So anyway, been there, done that, had that happen. And let's see, Jim, watching the Mariners sounds like a great deal, so that was kind of fun. And James, a trip to the farm. Oh, how exciting can that be? So this is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. So I'm going to push it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
This is Ron, KD7QKU again. That's the first thing I thought of too when Richard was talking with the sty. We were traveling in the motorhome and we were near Boise, so Joanne had a really bad one on her eye, her lower lid. It was, kind of like a big pimple, and it was really painful. And so it was the weekend, and we ended up getting a hold of an eye doctor, and he was nice enough to come down to his office and meet us. And real nice fellow. And I was encouraging him maybe he could lance it or something so she could get some relief because they're full of fluid. And but we got to his office, and about the time we got there, it broke, so we didn't have to lance it. So then, of course, once it was not nearly as painful then, but it had been bothering her for 3 or 4 days, and so he gave her some antibiotic ointment or something to put in it, so she was okay, but it was really painful for a while. And I have had something similar, but not, I don't know if Richard can hear me, but it's kind of like where the eyelashes go, you rub your eye with your dirty finger and it kind of gets infected in a little pore in there. And that's pretty bad, and I had to go to the eye doctor, and she also gave me some antibiotic stuff in a little tube, and I would put it in there, put it in my eye, and it would eventually, but it taken, a week or so to get over. So Jim, you're asking about caskets, and so there's a guy that makes them over on Vashon Island or someplace. He makes children's and he makes adults. I think there's quite a demand maybe for children caskets, believe it or not. But he I don't know if he routes them or what he does. I haven't seen his caskets, but Doug says he has pictures on them or verses or maybe he has one of those laser things, and he can put crosses and Bible verses and stuff on the lids or on the side. Doug has put a cross on some of his. He's had a dark colored cross, which I like, and a light whiter cross. So his cabinets are made out of solid lumber. They're not plywood, and they're what are they? I don't know if they're pine, but they're natural wood. They're stained, clear. They're nice. They're real nice. So the thing that you have to figure out, and he almost made a mistake. Now it's the law. You have to put a casket in a vault in the cemetery. So that's a concrete box, and the casket has to go in it. So his is pretty tight. So if your friend wanted to make some, he better make sure he finds out what the dimensions of the concrete vault are that they put in cemeteries, and he makes this casket. Doug makes 2 sizes. He makes one that's 6'6" long, and I think it's 29 inches wide. And then he makes one that's a little bit shorter. I don't know what it is, but you can see it's a little bit shorter. He doesn't think there would need to be anybody that would need a casket bigger than 6'6", but that's, if you're 6'6", I guess you could just fit in his. But anyway, and he hasn't made any child caskets. So anyway, he says the guy that's on Vashon or wherever he said he makes a real pretty casket. Well, I thought Doug's was really pretty too. Anyway, but he has wooden handles on the side and the end, so the pallbearers can pick it up and carry it. And his almost became a little too wide when he put the handles on it. He made enough room that you can get a comfortable grip on it, and he probably should have narrowed that just a bit so that it would maybe fit into the ball a little bit easier. What else were we talking about? I forget now. So anyway, I guess that's enough of that. Talked about. Oh, travel. Let me let it drop. Saw Jessica. I thought about her trailer, her little camp trailer, and then I thought there's a guy that makes all these travel videos, and he has them on YouTube, and he pulls a small trailer, and he pulls it with a pickup without a canopy, and he has a camera mounted on the trailer so you could look down and see the pickup. Have you seen him, Jessica? Maybe I saw him, yeah. So he was just over at Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse, and then he went to the Badlands, and he went to the, what is it, I want to say Black Mountains. Is it Black Mountains? But anyway, so I'd been to all those, but I hadn't been to the Badlands and stuff. So we went over there. We went to Mount Rushmore, but then we went to Sturgis and saw the motorcycles, and then we went to Wall Drug. I don't know if you've been to Wall Drug. So if you haven't been to Wall Drug, it's not what it sounds like. I guess it started out maybe as a drugstore, a little local store or something, but it turned into a big tourist attraction. It's like a mall, big thing. And it's all tourist stuff, restaurants and all kind of junk. It's a big deal. You see the signs all over the country saying you need to go to Wall Drug. Well, I finally went there. But we went from there, we went north, up into North Dakota to visit some friends. And we didn't go into the Badlands, whatever the mountains are called. And I'm sorry, if I'd have seen this video first, I definitely would have went to these other places, made sure we had enough time. So anyway, I was thinking, Jessica, that's what you need to do. The guy likes cameras, and he likes editing, and now he has a drone. He has this beautiful drone he bought. It's in this case. He can carry it like a camera bag, and it comes out and unfolds, and it has a real nice camera, and he sends that up. So first time I saw him use that, he was on the Oregon coast, and he was talking about how all these viewpoints, they let the trees grow up. So, 30 years ago when they made the viewpoint, you could look out and see the rocks and the beach. Well, now the trees are so tall, you can't see all that stuff very well. So he has these drones, so he flies his drone up in the air, and then flies it out, and you can see all that stuff. So it really has a nice dimension to his travel. And he talks a lot. He's probably just retirement age. I think sometimes his wife accompanies because I can see her maybe in the shadows sometimes. But he has a small trailer. Pretty nice guy. He has a little bit of an accent. He's a little bit hard for me to understand. But, yeah, I kind of like him. So anyway, that's enough of that. Back to Nat, KD7QKU. So Jessica, Sylvia could do the photography, and you could do all the editing and set all the cameras and sound equipment up. I think you guys would make a good team. You could probably have a lot of fun traveling all over and making videos. All right, back to Nat, KD7QKU.
QKU, thanks for that. And time for another ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Natural VOA machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. So let's go. KF7UHK. Jessica.
Feeling, and I'm going to take a great big guess. It might be Traveling Robert, and he lives in Florida, and he's a Cuban. He's from Cuba, grew up in Cuba, and just a fun guy to listen to. He's got a little music that he plays at the beginning and the end, and he himself recorded. He actually has a little show he does down in Florida where he goes to I want to say bars or nightclubs and plays, and he plays very well. He plays keyboard and sings, and he's very good at salsa music. But yeah, no, he's a wonderful, fun guy to watch go across the United States. His little trailer. Yeah, you're right. His wife kind of sits off in the shadows, and every now and then you see her. A lot of times you don't. And I have saved a whole lot of his videos on my computer because I thought they were so fun to watch, especially the ones around the north or southwestern United States. I really loved watching go through, the Grand Canyon areas and Arizona, and just fun guy to watch. He makes me laugh. And then sometimes he'll cook. Sometimes he'll cook things and say, "Now I'm going to throw in a little bit of paprika," because he really likes that paprika. And because of that, I've tried more paprika into my stuff. I didn't like it at first, but I like it now because I've gotten used to it. So some of the animals I've been seeing lately, I have written down a small list. And Sylvia saw a possum, but I see a lot of deer out there. A couple days ago, I saw a raccoon twice. I think it was the same raccoon on a couple different rounds. I came up through concrete. A lot of bunnies out there. They're multiplying like heck out there. See a lot of those out there in Anacortes and in Mount Vernon and in Burlington. I got a close-up look at an eagle that was sitting came swooping down and sat in the farm, and I drove past it, a stone's throw away. And this thing was a giant bird with all his wings all closed up. It was still just it was a big bird. It was very cool, eagle. And then the last thing, I think I saw a beaver the other day that was crawling out of a ditch because it was all wet and black looking. And I said, I think that's a beaver sitting there chomping on something on the side of the road. So that's kind of what I've been seeing lately. And the last thing is, Richard, if you're still listening, I was hoping that if he went to sleep, it would help, because when I haven't had enough sleep, my eyes get all gravelly feeling. That's what fixes it, is get some sleep. So with that, I'm going to pass it back. KF7 USK.
KF7UHK. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Yeah, I didn't go anywhere. I just turned the video off. I'm about to do the compress on my eye, and just part of the thing with my eyes, and I think a good chance it is a sty. Part of the deal is screen time. Just by not looking at the computer or watching television, I get relief just by not doing that. And this is Covington Jim. So on the getting my eyes dilated, well, the whole thing there is this is an eye surgeon, and I've been going to her now pretty steady for about 5 years, and she's old school, I think. Part of the deal too is with my narrow angle, she's got a baseline that she uses, and so with the narrow angle, and then with a lot of other issues associated with potential diabetes, they're very, well, it seems kind of subjective in a way, the way she calls out numbers to her assistant who's on the computer the whole time. However, she has put me in front of a machine, I think like you described, where they photograph your retina without your eyes dilated completely. So I don't know, I just go for the ride. And weirdly enough, the dilation wasn't as bad as it normally is. I appreciate all the suggestions from everyone, and Yeah, and it's either what you guys said, a sty, or a sliver of some sort, you know, a particle of dust. Or Ron, it could even be what you said, and maybe a plugged up tear duct or something like that. Except for the fact that Debbie saw this little spot on my lower eyelid. So anyway, I just have to tough it out, and I get a lot of relief with the hot warm compress like Dave described. And you know, I haven't been doing it as often as I probably should, because I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, it feels great when I do that too. Well, not only does it feel good, but my eye is closed. and I also noticed. That if I turn my head and look kind of towards whatever I'm looking at, kind of through the sides of my eyes, I don't know if that makes sense. So if I kind of look sideways at things, that feels better too. Probably because the part that's rubbing against the spot normally, constantly gets a lot of relief when I'm looking off to the side. And so I've been using that technique even right now as I'm just looking around. But no, hopefully, I don't know, you probably won't see me again. I gotta get this compress on my eyes. But anyway, I'm having fun listening to you guys and the bunny rabbit stories and all that good stuff. K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX. Let's go to Jim in 7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Let's see, where did I leave off here? Jessica, thanks for showing us Chloe. I appreciate seeing friendly critters every now and then. And I'll bet Chloe's lonely now. Sorry. Anyway, thanks for that. Ron, yeah, boy, sty, oozing some liquid. I don't know, that it kind of sounds like a zit, except in your eyelid. That ooh, wow. Lancet, I don't know. I wasn't one for popping zits when I had zits, but in the eye, I don't know. So I don't know. I guess Dick, I think what Dave gave you is pretty sound advice. Warm compresses will probably make it feel a whole lot better. Ron, thanks for mentioning the fellow on Vashon who makes wooden caskets. You know, now that you mention that, I think I saw that on television on some show once upon a time. Interesting. Yeah, I've got one friend who lives by me. He's retired Boeing, and he has I think he calls it a CNC machine. He programs it, and it'll make all kinds of really sophisticated designs in wood. He might enjoy doing that. He has a really large facility in what used to be his hangar. Then I know another friend who makes various cabinets and things. He goes to my church, and as a matter of fact, he was making some sort of cabinet for the church not too long ago, and he inadvertently cut off a finger. But he might be interested in doing something like that. If he could make some money, that would be kind of a good idea. Ron, you were talking about the Badlands and all that, and Mount Rushmore. And I remember one day, I don't know how many years ago, I flew a load of passengers from Denver to Rapid City, and I was never there before. It was nighttime, and the airport for Rapid City wasn't particularly one that stood out, but there's an Air Force base there. I think it's Ellsworth. Oh man, you can see the lights from that from miles away. So I headed for that, and then went for Rapid City, and it was dark. The next morning, when I got up and looked around, I saw all these mountains around, and I'm thinking, wow, it's a good thing I didn't screw up. Boy. And let's see. Oh, Jessica, Beaver, possibly. Oh, we see your Cuban friend there. Thanks. Beaver, or I come from parts of the country where it would probably have been a groundhog. I don't know what, but anyway, kind of the same critter until you see their tail, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, let me reset. And Dick, sorry I had to get dilated. I know you were not looking forward to that, but I'm glad the exam was not too bad anyway. It sounds like it wasn't quite as bad as you were expecting, so that's good. And good luck with your eye. That's something that's just so irritating, and if you can't get relief relatively soon, it can definitely get worse. So I'll probably be better in the morning. Like I said, I'd go with what Dave said, use some warm compresses on it, and that Zaditor worked well for me. But then I may not have had what you've got, and especially if it's a sliver. But anyway, back to you, Dave, in 7QO.
QO, let's go to James in Bellevue, WU7N.
Dave, if you can hear, I hope you get better soon and heal up quickly. There's dental pain and eye pain. I hate those. The only thing that I think is more annoying than that is when you have something that makes moving around difficult. You know, knee, hip, foot, something like that. So I hope you heal quickly. Is if you feel better not watching television, it either means you have an IQ higher than the rest of us, or maybe you're just a critic. I'm not sure which. But anyway, let's see. Dave, I'd have to say, people get cremated just get burned out at the end. That's what they say. I don't know. It's burnout's a common problem. Yeah, another sound effect from Jessica. And Jessica, okay, your animals list that you had, is that what you're seeing on the bus when you're driving the bus around? Oh yeah, when you're driving around, yeah. I remember when I was on the night shift, I would see all kinds of animals, all the urban wildlife that comes out at night, and it was really amazing. In particular, when I first moved into this place, or first owned this building decades ago, I was living here, and the coyotes were still not completely urbanized, and so the cubs would get to a certain size, and Mom would throw them out of the greenbelt to go find their own territory, and there would always be a big fight. And then as I was driving, though, occasionally you'd see a small juvenile coyote, all kind of confused, running along the road, trying to figure out, where they were supposed to go or what they were supposed to do. Briefly had a night shift sport called possum herding, and that's when the possums would get in the middle of the parking lot, and so you would come at them at 5 miles an hour in a vehicle. Of course, the parking lot, there's no other cars in the parking lot, and so it would run away from the car. But then when they would get up against the curb, they wouldn't jump over the curb and run into the bushes. They would run along the curb. And so the goal was to see how many possums you could get in a herd running along the curb. And I think the max record was 3. I didn't witness this. I personally never got more than 2, and then the Boeing guard came out and told us to cut that out. So anyway, I don't know what else exciting is going in my life. If we're reminiscing about possum herding stories in decades past, I think we've probably hit the end of my useful dialogue. I do like the weather here recently, though. This rain, I guess it's going to rain again tonight. It completely negates the need for watering. It's got our air so pure and clean, and my goodness, I look at the poor people of the Northeast, and the sky is orange. It's like that sky in the latest incarnation of Blade Runner, where the guy goes to Las Vegas, I think, and everything, you can't see more than 50 yards, and everything's orange. I think that's what they're dealing with right now. And I remember a few summers ago when that was like that, like here, I walked outside and I just felt like I was getting tear gassed. And there was not even any fun riot to join or anything. I mean, it was awful. Anyway, with that, let's see. This is James WW7ATS. Looks like about 9 minutes left, so let's turn it back to our net control, KD7ZYM.
7N, and it's time for yet another ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, the discussion of caskets, that's exciting. I was reading an article. Costco sells caskets online, and they're around $1,200 delivered, so I guess that's a pretty good bargain. There's supposed to be very competitive caskets available. But then I was watching something on television just a couple of days ago, and they had about the assassination of JFK in Texas, and they said they transported his body in a casket to Air Force One, but they couldn't get it through the door of the passenger plane, but they had to remove the handles off the casket to get through the doorway. So that was an interesting fact that nobody seems to know about that they brought up. So that was kind of interesting. And animal critters, got a little baby rabbit that's hopping around in my front yard. Then I got a raccoon that's either pregnant or trying to be a pig, one of the two. Wanders around in my backyard, passing through the neighborhood at least once a day. So that's about it that's here. And then I've noticed stellar jays popped up in my yard, the nice blue wings, beautiful young ones, smaller than the adults. And then I've seen an absence of crows. That kind of has me concerned. Normally there's a gaggle of crows that sort of come around the neighborhood about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and populate the trees and make big noise. That's been missing, so I don't know where they're yondering off to. So that's about it. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. So I'll move it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
7QKU. Well, Jessica, yeah, that was Traveling Robert, all right. I saw him on your picture. Switch subject here just a minute. Dave was talking about Kennedy. So Kennedy Jr., is running for president now, and I was reading or listening to him, I don't know which. I listened to a guy interview him. Pretty nice guy, pretty common sense. And anyway, he was saying that he thinks the CIA killed the president, Kennedy, and he said that Kennedy didn't want the military or the CIA to do a couple of things that they wanted to do at that time. It has something to do with Cuba and maybe somebody else. And he was adamantly against them, and he thinks that they killed him as the president. And he also said that he thinks that they might try to kill him because he's running for president against Biden. Right now, he thinks the Justice Department, the CIA, FBI is all pretty corrupt. And he said he wouldn't be surprised if they don't try to kill him. So, you have to see. Dave's going thumbs down, but I don't know. So, anyway. And then, let's see, you talk about ice. So, I work, on cars and buses. And is Wade talking to us? So anyway, I have welded a few times and had the hot metal splash in my eyes. And it's like, it's like up and you're yelling and they grab you and they throw you in a vehicle and they rush you off to the emergency room someplace. First time it happened to me, I don't know, they bandaged me up and sent me home. Joanne got me, or I got home, I don't know, somehow. And got home and I told Joanne I gotta go back. They didn't get the stuff out of my eyes. It's terrible. So Joanne, it was in Seattle because I was working for Metro at the time down on Atlantic Street. So she taken me all the way back to Seattle to some emergency room. I don't know where because I was bandaged up. And they went in and they unbandaged me and they looked in my eyes again and they said, no, we got everything. It's just your eyes are just, just hurt really bad. So we're going to give you these pills. And they said, stop and get him a milkshake on the way home and then put him in bed and he'll be fine when he wakes up in the morning. So my eyes were just, killing me, and so she did. She got me a milkshake and taken me home, put me in bed, and, I got up the next morning, my eyes were fine. The doctor said they healed fast. And then, grinding without goggles on or without face shield, I was really bad about that. So same thing. Pieces of metal fly off when you're grinding, go in your eye, and it was the same way. You hold your eye open with both hands, and you run around the shop yelling for somebody to take you someplace. They take you either to the ophthalmologist or they take you to the emergency room, and they drill them out. They have to drill the little pieces of metal out. They have a hollow drill. If they leave them in, they'll rust and cause terrible things to happen to your eye, and I guess you could end up going blind. So they drill them out. They have a little hollow drill, and they put holes in your eye. So that's my experiences. I guess, let's see, I talked about Kennedy and eyes, and I guess that's it for, and Jessica, you could have very well seen a beaver, I'm sure, they cross roads, they, do things, if you could have seen his tail, I think their tails are usually kind of black and hairless, and they're kind of white, but they're all about the same size, those animals, some of them, so, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised you didn't see a beaver. We were down on the beach, Ocean Shores, and Joanne went for a walk, and I was sitting in the truck, and she comes back and tells me she saw a penguin. And so she didn't have her cell phone, didn't take a picture, but some other people stopped, I guess, and saw it too, and they said they thought it was a penguin. Well, penguins aren't on our coast, but I suppose there could have been a bad storm or something, and so the penguin, got blown off course or something, or some kind of a penguin type bird. So anyway, before I could get down there and get a picture of him, I think I was taking pictures of sunsets or something, because it was in the evening at sunset, kind of. Some guy came by with his dog and scared whatever it was, and it went out in the water so far that we couldn't, when I got down there, I couldn't see to tell. But Joanne thinks she saw a penguin on the shore at Ocean Beach, at Ocean Shores. All right, back to net, KD7QKU.
QKU. Let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
Many moons ago, they showed us a safety film at Boeing that was called "I Am Joe's Eye," and it was like made in like 1952 or something, and it shows this man working in a shop with a metal grinder. He doesn't have his safety glasses on, and something gets in his eye, and they take him in this 1952 ambulance down to the doctor, and they had a device that was basically an electromagnet on a wire that they were putting into his eye to try to pull these things out, but they said if it's something like aluminum, that doesn't work. Then they have to use other things. And it was a very good scare tactic film for its age. And speaking of scare tactic films, what I'm talking about, the safety films they showed us before we drove buses were really well done. They had ones for just about everything: heart attacks, and strokes, and people just collapsing from whatever things, along with cuts and stuff. And one had a nail going into someone's eye, and they were really well done. They were one of those things. It's like if you're a fainter, this might be not the film for you. So they were scary. And then the last thing about animals, we used to do a thing my parents would do. It was called cow. I think we called it cow calling, where they pull the pull the car over to the side of the road on a farm somewhere, along a farm, and then everybody would take turns trying to get the cows to stop and turn and look at us. My dad was the best. This is KF7 UHK.
7 UHK, thanks for that. And it's time to terminate the net. It's 9 o'clock, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Net, I'm Dave, KD7CYM. I want to thank the ZTAC Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a specific tone of 103.5 for Cougar Mountain for our voice transmissions for our nets. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7CYM, terminating the net. Good evening all. Bert.